So let's look through moving our body. Let's look at moving toward Padmasana or Lotus Pose. This is a posture that's used traditionally in meditation. It is inaccessible to many because so many of us sit in chairs all the time and our hips are not open. And we are very patient as we make our way into this posture, and let's have a little bit of fun with it and see what happens, okay? Let's begin on our backs. Okay, let's just stretch for a moment, extend the legs, point the toes, interlace your fingers. Make yourself really long. Good. Let the shoulders rise up around the ears. Yeah. And then walk the legs over to your right and your chest and your head over to the right as well. And let the left hip sink downward. Really extending out through the left foot. All the way, pointing and even curling the toes. And then we come to the other side. Accentuating the right side of the body now. Feeling the right shoulder blade make contact with the ground. Filling up the right side body with breath. Good. And then we slowly make our way back onto our backs. Good. Just let the arms draw down beside you. Now we'll take the right heel and we'll trace a line up the inner left leg, slowly moving upward. And we'll probably find that the outside of the right leg doesn't make contact with the ground, which is absolutely fine. We make the leg as heavy as we can as we trace a path. And it's early in our practice, so we're aligning the breath with the movement of the body and aligning the mind with the movement of the breath. And we'll go extra slow on this last one. And releasing. Good. Okay, switching sides. Left heel traces a path. Noticing that the breath might begin to correspond with the movement. If it's been a busy day today, we'll tend to come to the practice with a lot of speed in us. So we just sort of put the brake on, slow it down. And then we'll do one more. And this one, really put the brake on. Wonderful. Okay, releasing. And then we'll interlace the fingers now behind the head. So the thumbs draw down the nape of the neck. Elbows are wide. And then let's bring the soles of the feet together. The knees go wide. We'll draw the navel to the spine and we'll slowly lift the tailbone and the head off the ground. Maybe the elbows and the knees will touch and then we'll open back out again. But nothing touches down. Exhale. Maybe we touch. You can feel here what we're interested in is how the coccyx is moving toward the pubic bone on this action, and then the pubic bone relaxes back toward the coccyx a little bit. So it's like we're attempting to roll the lower vertebrae off the floor and the upper vertebrae off the floor. And then we release, let the legs go long, the arms beside us, and pause and feel in. So given that Padmasana is often dedicated to meditation, on our way to that posture, we can also align the breath and the movement and the mind as much as possible as a practice. Now let's bring both knees into the chest. And here we'll lift the right leg up a little bit and then see if you can cross the ankle over the thigh without using your hands. And then draw the leg in any amount. So we won't use the arms. And then feed the right glute and the hips some breath. Yeah, a couple more breaths here. And we unwind that. And see if we can come to the other side. We may need to help the foot. Place it on top of the thigh and slowly we make our way. Just listening to all the sensations around the left hip, probably the left hip. And one more breath. Great. And then we'll unwind that. Let's take happy baby for a moment. Take hold of the outside of the ankles or the feet. Sinking thighs toward the ground, really broad across the collarbone area. Good. You might straighten one leg at a time. Just get used to the idea of warming up the back of the legs. Pushing out through the ball of one foot and then the other. If the legs don't straighten, no big deal. Okay, we cross the ankles, draw navel to spine. Let's roll a few times. Feet come to the ground. Hands come to the ground. Sweep your legs back behind you. Let's come to downward facing dog, walking back and forth here. It's malleable hips. Sometimes we'll say to ourselves, oh, I'm so tight here, or, I can't do this thing. And we just notice that if that comes up. We in yoga, we will do a lot of self-inquiry. Is this true? Those thoughts often prevent opening, don't they? We inhale, exhale, knees bend, look past the hands, step forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Draw your sit bones together if you can. Then exhale, fold forward. And let's pause here. Take your feet hip width apart, grasp your elbows. Let your belly rest on the front of your thighs and let the body become like honey. Push the feet into the ground. They're really rooted. Notice where the gaze automatically goes, probably between the legs on the floor behind you. And then with the knees bent, slowly we rise up. One vertebrae at a time, coming all the way up. And let's pause in mountain pose here. Good. All right, so from here, come onto your left foot. Let's bring the right foot right up the left leg. And actually, if you take your hands to your shoulders, we'll just trace a path here, watching what happens. Likely the right hip will rise up as the right foot lifts up. But we play a game called hips attempt to stay level. And then we switch sides, right foot down, rooting the right foot, and we trace a path. Just noticing where it goes on its own. Good, and then releasing mountain pose once again. Let's inhale, send the arms up. Exhale, swan dive, fold forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, step back to plank pose and pause in plank. Draw shoulder blades apart. Draw navel to spine. Line up the head with the rest of your body. Inhale, exhale, knees down, and the whole body comes down. Cobra pose, point your toes back. Inhale, pull the mat. Exhale, release. And tuck toes under, hips over heels. Downward facing dog. And getting quiet in the dog. Hands and feet move away. Arms externally rotate. Lower ribs draw in toward hips. Any locked joints, just notice if that's the case. See if you can soften. So it feels as though the body is really circulating energy well. Inhale, exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands, step or float forward between the hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise all the way up. Palms touch. Exhale, release the arms. Feel the breath. Okay, from here, take your weight into your left foot. Now bring your right knee up into the chest, and then out to the side, and then back. And out to the side, and then back. And out, and back. Good, right foot down. Left leg, knee draws up, and then out we go. Just exploring what happens in the hips. Okay, then back down. Now this time bend the knees, sink, soles of the feet, graze fingertips to the floor, chair pose. From here, transfer your weight into your left foot. Can you lift your right knee off? And can you cross? Let's try it again. Tap the toes and then cross. Sink, then tap, cross, sink. Good. Palms come to prayer position, elbows touch. It's light, the gaze is steady, and the pelvic floor is lifted. And then arms extend, and we come out of that. Pause here, mountain. Bend the knees again, fingertips graze. Utkatasana. Okay, weight into the right foot, onto the left toes. Lift off, cross, and then back down. Cross, sink, then back down. Just touch. Cross, sink, then back down. Good. One more time. Cross, sink, and elbows slowly make their way. Good. Gradually rise. Foot lands. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release. If you move while I'm in balance poses, I will see it. Okay? Okay, let's take this further. Sink. Inhale. Exhale, folding forward, out and down. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, step or float back, lower through. Inhale. Exhale, back. Pause. Steady breath, steady mind. Right leg extends up and back. Good. Now go ahead from here. Bend your right knee and stack right hip on top of left without the shoulders changing. And then do that a couple times where inner thighs touch. Then open out. And as you open the leg, the arms stay the same. Good. Then stretch right leg up and back. Inhale.
Come up onto the ball of the left foot, right thigh forward, foot lands lightly, back heel pivots, up we come. Warrior one. So make a choice here. You might push back through your back heel with it down, or some of you might be in a lunge position with the heel off. Good, sinking in a little bit more deeply. Inhale, exhale, palms in prayer position. Take your back leg forward and cross it over the right thigh. Sink, sink, sink. Elbows touch. This may be it. Or fold forward, bringing your hands to the floor. And then let the head and neck relax. Navel draws to spine. We just open up the back of the body a little bit. And then on our way out of this, project the chest forward, release the left leg, send it all the way up as if you're searching for the ceiling. Like you've got eyes up in the ball of your left foot. You can go ahead, stack the hips. And then release left foot to the ground, right leg back behind you, lower through. Inhaling and exhale back. And just returning to a sense of quietude in the pose. And then we'll send the right leg up and back. We'd reach through the heel. Then stack, keep the elbows and the shoulders level. Then bend. And play with this, coming forward and then stacking again. Hips level and forward, and then stacking. Okay, so this last one, we inhale, exhale, navel to spine, thigh forward, foot lands, back heel pivots, and we come up. Good, warrior one, root the feet. Grow the posture. Inhale, exhale, palms of prayer position. Good, left leg comes forward. We cross, we sink, elbows touch. We look down. We could stay here, or we take the hands to blocks or to the floor, and we fold forward. We'll open up the back line. Let the jaw soften. Face soften. And we work intelligently here. So we're sure that the face is soft wherever we go, because if it's not, that means we're probably working too hard. And same with the breath. Breath is steady. Then knees bend. Slowly rise back up. And then find your way back. Arms extend up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands down, right leg back. Slowly lower down onto your belly. And let's rest here on a cheek. Feeling the breath. And what the body's doing now as it's lying back. Okay, so now from here, same idea where we take the right heel up against the inner left ankle and we trace a path. It's a little difficult on a sticky mat, but we're going to try. take the foot up as high up the inner leg as you can, and then back down again. And just watch that external rotation of the right leg. We'll do this 3 times. And just keep the heel as close to being against the inner left leg as you can. And release right leg, pause. Feel that. Good. So the phrase that comes to mind is there's many ways to skin a cat, which is not the appropriate phrase. There's many ways to open a lotus is probably a little better. We take the heel now, left heel up, right leg, as far as it'll go. May not go the same. And then back down. And back up. And down. And up, 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 up. And then back down. And feel in. Okay, so from here we take the hands under the shoulders. Let's tuck the toes under. Hips back behind you. Walk the hands in under the shoulders. Come up onto the balls of the feet. Take the legs really wide. And this can be helpful to have a block under the hands. Some of you will want to have a block. The gaze is steady. The pelvic floor is lifted and the palms come to prayer position. Or the fingertips just remain down as we work on this. So my heels are pressed, but we could play with, wow, could we go a little wider? Just see. You could touch down one knee at a time. Good, pelvic floor lifts, 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 lifts. Play with it. That's what playing with it looks like. Good, and then come down and take the hands forward and slowly lower through. Okay, so back to our dog. Lengthening the spine. It's amazing, you know, every time you come to this dog pose, there's so much to learn. Inhale, exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands, step or float forward between your hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Inhale, rising all the way up. Palms touch at the top. Exhale. Release the arms. Okay, so on the way to groin the lotus, we're going to do that series one more time. This time, we're going to do that series one more time. This time, we'll take it to another step, and we'll see what happens. There's a lot of we'll see what happens here. So bend the knees, fingertips graze. Inhale. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, step or float, lowering through. Inhale. Exhale, back. Right leg extends. Inhale. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale, back. Exhale, right knee to left elbow. Inhale, back. Exhale, kiss the knee. Inhale, back. Exhale, right foot between the hands, back heel pivots, and we come up. Palms draw down. Left foot crosses. And we sink. Good. Now, if we wish to go on, hands come to the floor as we did before. We wrap the left foot around the top of the right shoulder. You see how close we can come in here. That may be where we stop. Or from here we hook. We pretend this foot is like a hand. We hook, we draw the pelvic floor up, the navel to the spine. The left knee lands on the left arm. We look forward, and then we extend the right leg up and back. Fingertips grasp the floor. The right foot lowers. We pause, fold forward here. And while we're here, we want to see if we take hold of the foot, can we bring it up into the inner hip crease without forcing? See what that feels like? Good. It should feel relatively sweet. Every posture should feel relatively sweet. Okay, so then when we come up, we might travel a little bit. Good. This is honest video. We're in the business of honest video. What's it really like? We could cross holding the foot or the elbow, or hand comes to the foot, or we're still here with the palms in prayer position. I just want to see if we can get that connection. And then we release, and we come back to mountain pose. Okay, so we do it again. Bend the knees, graze, inhale, exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, step or float. Inhale, exhale, back. Your left leg extends, inhale, exhale, knee to left elbow, inhale, back. Exhale, knee to right elbow, inhale, back. Exhale, kiss like you mean it, inhale, back. Exhale, left foot lands, right heel pivots, root. Pull the mat with your feet. Rising, take your warrior. Inhale, exhale, palms in prayer position. Sweep right leg forward, cross, sink. Okay, so from here, we slowly fold forward to the very best of our ability. Again, hands might be on the block. If we do come to an impediment, which is real, let's practice patience and kindness. So necessary, especially if we've got injuries or places where the body's held. So if we wish to go on, the foot hooks around the shoulder. The palms come down. The knee comes to the right armpit. We look forward. You can see how my foot just slid down. Coming forward, lower navel to spine. Okay, so on this side, I have an injury on my right hip, so this is as far as I'm going to come. Left leg comes up. You can take your left leg all the way back. And then land when you do. And while we're here, folding forward, good, we might see if we can take this foot up into the inner hip crease. And it may not work at all. And actually on this side, because of my injury, what I'm doing is I'm coming up and seeing if I can bring it in from up here. Good. So the problem with this is for a lot of folks, this knee does not externally drop downward. We'll end up kind of stuck here. We never force the knee. Once we make our way, yeah, we check to see if it's sweet. Yeah, I like that way of thinking of it. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, release the leg. So if it's not sweet, then there's something else to do to make it sweet. All right, so pause for a moment. Mountain pose. We inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step or float back, lower through. Inhale. Exhale, back. And then let's come to a seat. Pause here. Take your legs out in front of you. All right, we'll bring the right knee into the chest and then roll the leg out to the side. Look towards your left pinky toe. This foot presses into the inner thigh. Inhale. Exhale, folding forward. Maybe grasping the right wrist or holding the foot. Feel the right hip sink, sinking downward. This is an interesting posture because the whole backside of the body is quite strong. The pelvic floor lifts as if we could just zip up the middle of the front of our body. And then we slowly rise back up. Now from here, we want to lift the right leg and see if the right foot will come up to the top of the thigh without using the hands. You know, maybe, maybe not. Sometimes I'll work the foot in a little bit. Okay, if you get this far, you can flex the right foot and then fold forward again. If you did not get that far and you're still here, don't go ahead and take hold and this cradle the leg like a baby. The foot can come to the elbow crease, shin draws to chest. Or you can place the foot at the hip crease and then fold forward. And there's an advantage here. If your heel can press in, that will actually help lengthen out through the spine. And then inhale, rise back up. Exhale, right leg goes long. So see if you can bring the left foot in now. Opening out, turn, face pinky toe. Inhale, exhale, folding. The left sit bone drops. And smooth out the breath. Good then, navel to spine. Inhale, rise up. And see if you can lift the left leg and cross. Will it come to the top of the thigh? Scooting it. Or not. It may not work at all. Or remember, holding shin. Or a foot lands. And then turn, once again, heel presses right at the inside of the ASIS. The hip bone, and folding forward toward pinky toe. Okay, slowly we make our way out. Undo that. All right, so let's see if we bring the soles of the feet together and the knees go wide. Now, take the feet out in front of you a little bit. Take the arms through the legs. And here's where we're going to look at the relationship between the coccyx and the pubic bone where if we draw the pubic bone back, you can see that I'm going into a little bit of an arch. And then if the coccyx comes toward the pubic bone, there's some rounding going on. Let's do that a few times. Because as we make our way into Padmasana, it's going to be easier when we're first learning it to have a little bit of rounding going on. Just feel coccyx to pubic bone. Yes. Okay. Slowly come back up. Okay. So from here, let's lie back for a moment and take your legs straight up in the air. And then slowly bring your right heel, or let's cross again. See, can you bring your heel toward the inner thigh, any amount? And when you do that, you're going to take your hands to the right thigh and externally rotate the thigh like you're turning a can of peanut butter to get it open. See where the heel will go. And maybe drawing the left leg over the body, any amount. So it could very well look more like figure 4. And it could be that the leg is straight. It could be that you have a strap wrapped around the ball of the foot. These postures, they like time. They like time. And then right leg long and left leg. So we've turning this, turn, cross. See where it lands on its own. Help it just a little bit. Good, then maybe right leg comes, extend over, or you're in this variation, or in this variation. Wherever we go honestly. Okay, release, take both legs up. So here we see, well, can I bring right foot to inner hip crease? And then can I rotate left thigh bone out and maybe right knee or right heel comes on top. Okay, that either worked or it didn't work. Could very well be that this leg is hanging out back here, in which case we're patient. We're patient and we're kind. So let's look at it from a different perspective. There's 2 more postures we can address seated. Well, there's many, but let's do these 2. Right knee forward, left knee on top. Grow the spine, fold forward here. Okay, if you have a knee that's floating high, which could very well be the case, you can turn and make this a twist. Press the sole of the left foot into the ground. Or return to your back for figure 4 again. And inhale, rise back up, unwind, just float the legs, grasp the outside of the feet, extend the legs any amount, drop the shoulders, lift the sternum. And then let's switch sides. Switch sides. And make your way in. You know, you probably heard the story about the lotus. That 1, there's no lotus without mud. And 2, the lotus does grow out of the mud. So think about all of the work that we go through to reach clarity internally. Life is messy, but it's like the breeding ground if we know how to use it right for our greatest opening, yes? And then slowly we find our way back, lean back a little bit, unwind, take hold of the feet, or this time the big toes, extend sternum, reach through the feet, strong arms. And then slowly come down. So now when we approach this lotus this last time, the spine is a little bit rounded, like when we were doing this way. Take the right foot in, take the left. Good. And once you're here, you want to bring the legs up pretty high. We're patient about it though. Some people feel that flexing the feet is a good idea the whole time to protect the knees. Some people say that's not necessary. How do I feel about it? Well, it depends. It depends on the day. If my knees are feeling like garbage, then I flex my feet. There's plenty of places that you can play once you've come into lotus. If the lotus isn't available, it's nothing nothing bad will happen. It'll be fine. So let's say we're here. Let's come to a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. And we'll close the eyes in the spirit of dropping our awareness down, 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 tethering beyond the ground beneath us. And feeling the sit bones root, allow the spine to rise, the pelvic floor lifts a little bit. We watch the breath, noticing thoughts as they arise, noticing that they come and they go. Sometimes it's worth noticing our own attachment, particularly to the postures, but probably to everything, yeah? We want things to be a certain way. Why? And see if we can sink into this moment. Releasing any extra gripping that we bring. That's a full-time job, that releasing. Riding the breath like we're surfing a wave. You can stay here, or you bring your palms together. This is Padma Mudra, where the pinky fingers and the thumb tips touch, and we open the hands.
being willing to go in and face the mud of our lives, grow beautiful things. Good. Anjali Mudra. We inhale, exhale, inhale. Bring the hands to the forehead, right thought. May we be steady. May we be present. May we be joyful. The hands come to the mouth, right speech. May our words improve upon the silence. Our hands come to our heart, right action. May we be the change that we wish to see. Namaste.